Chapter 29-24 Conquest of the Mechanic Emperor Domain 4-inch. The army of the Dragon Palace has come to reinforce our Lioli region. The Dragon King will lead a group of experts to attack the robot army and chase them into the Mechanic Emperor Domain. When all the soldiers at the border between the Colored Glaze region and the Mechanic Emperor region retreated, the news of what had happened here had already spread on the artificial brain of the Colored Glaze region. When the people of the Lioli region learned that the Dragon Palace had come to support them, they were filled with gratitude. They were also shocked by the Dragon Palace's direct invasion of the Mechanic Imperial Domain. Soon, they saw that annoying guy, Invincible Battle Mage, sent a message. The Dragon King has personally led the Dragon Palace's experts to attack the Mechanic Emperor Domain. It won't be long before the Mechanic Emperor Domain is swept away. This time, the message wasn't long, and it wasn't filled with sarcasm. When the citizens saw the information about the invincible battle technique, they were in disbelief. The Dragon Palace wants to attack the Mechanic Emperor Domain? Aren't they helping us guard the border? Why is the Dragon Palace attacking the Mechanic Emperor Domain? Is this for real? Was what invincible battle technique said true? The Dragon Palace wants to invade the Mechanic Emperor Domain? It can't be. Even our Lioli region found it hard to destroy the Mechanic Emperor region. Does the Dragon Palace have the strength to do so? If we attack them, how many losses will the Dragon Palace suffer? Guarding the borders and going to the Mechanic Emperor Domain were two different things. The guards only needed to act as a deterrent. However, the expedition to the Mechanic Emperor Domain was a star-field war, a vast war. In such a war, the casualties would be calculated in the hundreds of billions. In particular, not only was the Mechanic Emperor's domain not weak, but it was also very strong. Did he have the strength to attack the Dragon Palace? Do you think that the Dragon Palace will be as weak as the Lioli region? Just wait for the news. It won't be long before all the robots are destroyed. But soon, Invincible Fighter started another debate. He began to ridicule the entire Lioli region. But this time, the good thing was that it was related to the Dragon Palace. After all, the Dragon Palace had come to help the Lioli region. Other than saying that the Dragon Palace was invincible, they didn't say anything bad about the Dragon Palace. Soon, everyone in the Lioli territory was guessing the strength of the Dragon Palace. Could the Dragon Palace really sweep through the Mechanic Emperor Domain? The Dragon Palace could defeat the robots? As they did not know the specifics of the situation, they could only make various guesses. Some said that the Dragon Palace could defeat the Mechanic Imperial region, and some said that the Dragon Palace might really be stronger than the Lioli region, but some didn't believe it. The entire Lioli region's AI was bustling with activity. Boom, boom, boom. At this moment, the main character of their discussion was chasing after the robot army. The army of battleships, mechas, and fighter jets that spanned more than 1 billion kilometers quickly flew toward the depths of the Mechanic Emperor's domain. Endless artillery fire was fired continuously at the rear. The army of Dragon Palace was in hot pursuit. I really didn't expect that the Dragon Palace would actually want to attack our Mechanic Emperor region and our mechs. How dare they? Dragon Palace, you actually dared to provoke us. In that case, we'll let you experience the cannon fire and punishment of our Mechanic Emperor region. On the Mechanic Emperor ship, the murderous intent in the eyes of the Master Creator intensified as he watched the Dragon Palace chase after them for half an hour. In this half an hour, he had thoroughly analyzed all the forces of the Dragon Palace. In his opinion, this force was very strong, not much weaker than their Mechanic Emperor's domain. However, it would be a big mistake to attack them with just this force alone. He wanted the Dragon Palace to pay a heavy price. That strange creature can actually increase its strength by devouring my people. What a unique existence. The legendary Divine Dragon. In the past, I still wanted to hunt a Divine Dragon for research. I didn't expect you to come here on your own. A peak bloodline race in the universe will definitely be able to improve my technology. It might even be able to free me from the shackles of machinery. Since the Dragon Palace wants to attack us, let's fight. Even if the Mechanic Emperor region suffers a huge loss this time, as long as we can obtain the body of a divine dragon, it will be worth it. Mechanic Emperor region, all the mechs, my people, Kill them all, kill them all. Slowly, the eyes of the Master Creator revealed a ferocious and excited look. He couldn't help but roar. When he knew that the Dragon Palace had divine dragons, he had coveted the bloodline of the peak race in the universe, the Divine Dragon. However, the Dragon Palace was already very strong at that time. Now that the other party dared to invade them, that was great. Even if they had to pay a huge price, as long as they could kill 1 or 2 divine dragons, it would not be a loss. He stood on the Mechanic Emperor ship, and data flashed in his eyes. At the same time, signals were also transmitted to the Mechanic Emperor region. Beep beep beep. Order of the Master Creator, convert to war mode. All mechs, enter the mechanical planet, and head to the designated location. Order of the Master Creator, convert to war mode. All mechs, enter the mechanical planet, and head to the designated location. At this moment, all the mechs in the entire Mechanic Emperor region and on the mechanical planet located in various parts of the star field stopped moving. An order was transmitted into their minds, and their eyes slowly turned red. Yes, order of the Master Creator. Yes, order of the Master Creator. The next moment, all the mechs responded in unison. Following that, the planet they were on let out a loud roar. All the mechs immediately flew to the center of the mechanical planet. There, a huge platform rose, and on it, all kinds of mechanical weapons were placed. All the mechs turned into warriors and rode on the mechanical planet, flying toward the direction of the Master Creator. Tens of thousands of mechanical planets, hundreds of billions of mechs, all rushed toward the Master Creator. At the same time, in the center of the Mechanic Emperor region, the mechanical planet that had a diameter of hundreds of millions of kilometers was surrounded by 18 smaller mechanical planets. They also started moving. On this mechanical planet, there were 2 million-meter-long mechs. One was a mechanical creature that looked like a falcon. They stared coldly at the void in front of them, and all kinds of data flashed in their eyes. The entire Mechanic Emperor region started moving. All the mechs' power was activated, and they flew toward the Master Creator. It was majestic and it was shocking. When the Master Creator saw the entire Mechanic Emperor region moving, his face revealed a cold expression. He stared at all the people from the Dragon Palace, who were chasing after him, and sneered. After chasing for such a long time, the rest of the mech armies in the Mechanic Emperor region should have converged on the Master Creator. At this moment, behind the members of the Dragon Palace, Wang Xian floated in the air, locking onto the Master Creator. Currently, the Emperor God hidden in the 1.5 million strong army of the Dragon Palace still had not made a move. He was waiting. Chapter 29-25. Conquering the Mechanic Emperor Domain 5. Wang Xian was waiting for the arrival of all the legions of the Mechanic Emperor Domain. With his current strength, he could definitely catch up to the robot army in front of him and catch up to the creators. But he didn't do so. According to the information he got from the Lioli domain, although the creator couldn't escape to his holy kingdom directly, he had a very heaven-defying ability. He was able to transfer his memories to any of the automatons. In other words, he could abandon his own body and transfer to other androids and machines. After the transfer, he could still mobilize the entire robot army. If the Dragon Palace were to display all its strength and annihilate all the robot army in front, the creator would definitely escape and Wang Xian wouldn't be able to stop him. After the creator escaped, he would definitely order the rest of the robots to protect him and escape from the pursuit of the Dragon Palace. In this case, it would be good if the Dragon Palace could annihilate half of the robots in the Mechanic Emperor domain. Therefore, Wang Xian was waiting for all the robots in the Mechanic Emperor domain to rush over. Or the moment the creator and the rest escaped to the center of the Mechanic Emperor domain to counterattack. At the front, the wind divine dragons roared. From time to time, battleships were destroyed by them. At the back, the devouring dragons flew over and devoured the battleships. These battleships were made of a special kind of biometal, the same material used to build robots. Battleships could also be considered another type of robot. To the devouring dragons, this was an energy boost. In this half an hour of pursuit, the wind divine dragons had destroyed more than 2,000 battleships, which increased the combat power of the thousands of devouring dragons to another level. The chase was still going on. Wang Xian wasn't in a hurry. The creator wasn't in a hurry either. At this moment, he closed his eyes, searched the star map of the Mechanic Emperor domain in his mind, and was giving out orders. He wanted to surround everyone in the Dragon Palace and make them suffer heavy losses. Even if he couldn't destroy the Dragon Palace, he wanted to inflict heavy damage. Time passed slowly. It had been a day since the Dragon Palace chased after the robot army. To the members of the Dragon Palace, a day's time wasn't the slightest bit tired. As a divine dragon, their physique was enough to support them in battles for a few years. Moreover, the members of the Dragon Palace didn't use their strongest moves. At this moment, the Master of Creation, who was sitting in the Mechanic Emperor ship with his eyes closed, opened his eyes and revealed a cold smile. His eyes scanned the seats on both sides and his eyes sparkled. Let's make Dragon Palace pay the price right here. In order to prevent you from escaping back to the Divine Kingdom in an instant, I have prepared a great gift for you. As the Master of Creation spoke, he stood up slowly and flew towards the front of the Mechanic Emperor ship. Boom, boom, boom. At this moment, planets flew over at a terrifying speed from the left and right sides. The planets on the left were all emitting blazing flames, and the one in the center was a blazing sun. On the right, there were many planets that exuded extremely cold temperatures. Gold Fisher Scarlet Sun and Extreme Ice White Dwarf. These terrifying natural stars in the universe emit a temperature that can threaten God King experts. The creator stared at the two gigantic planets and smiled. Behind these flaming and icy planets were the mechanical armies of the Mechanic Emperor's domain. On those mechanical planets stood countless androids. They held various weapons in their hands and stared coldly at the front. At the same time, when the Gold Fisher Scarlet Sun and Extreme Ice White Dwarf appeared on both sides, Wang Xian had already sensed it. He squinted his eyes and scanned both sides. All members of the Dragon Palace, stop. Wang Xian ordered with flickering eyes. Yes, Dragon King. One by one, the members of Dragon Palace immediately stopped their attacks and stopped moving. Similarly, they swept their eyes across both sides. Dragon King, the mechanical armies of the Mechanic Emperor's domain should be here. Tianjin flew to Wang Xian's side with a compass in his hand and said with a smile. On his compass, they were surrounded by densely packed red dots. The number of red dots was uncountable. Almost. Since they have set up an ambush here, they should have mobilized at least 90% of their strength. Those Gold Fisher Scarlet Sun and Extreme Ice White Dwarf should be there to prevent the members of the Dragon Palace from escaping back to their divine kingdom. Wang Xian said plainly with a smile on his face. When an expert wanted to return to his divine kingdom instantly, he couldn't be attacked at this moment. Once he was attacked, he would be interrupted. The extreme heat and cold emitted by the Gold Fisher Scarlet Sun and Extreme Ice White Dwarf would affect the entire void, causing the aura of the void to be unstable. Under such circumstances, it would take longer to prepare to escape back to his divine kingdom. However, this also meant that the Mechanic Emperor's domain was prepared to fight to the death with the Dragon Palace. This was exactly what they wanted. Dragon Palace, since you want to hunt down my mechanical armies, let's settle this here. All mechanical armies, attack. The Master of Creation saw the Dragon Palace army suddenly stop and thought that they were afraid. With a stern look, he immediately ordered loudly. Boom, boom, boom. As soon as he gave the order, the dozens of Golden Rift Scarlet Suns and Arctic White Dwarfs suddenly sped up and charged towards them. Blast! At the same time, the mechanical armies began their counterattack. From where the members of the Dragon Palace were standing, they could see countless rays, cannons, and missiles flying towards them. On both sides, the Gold Fisher Scarlet Sun and Extreme Ice White Dwarf gradually split apart when they were hundreds of millions of kilometers away from the members of the Dragon Palace. Boom, boom, boom. Endless flaming meteorites and icy meteorites rushed towards the members of the Dragon Palace. The extreme heat and cold caused cracks to appear in the space they were in. The entire space was unstable. The flaming meteorites and icy meteorites didn't cause any harm to the members of the Dragon Palace. Their main purpose was to disrupt the starry sky and prevent the members of the Dragon Palace from escaping. Hee, let's begin. All Emperor Gods, lock onto your targets. Don't let them escape. The devouring dragon prioritizes battle. After this battle is won, devour the spoils of war. Wang Xian's eyes shone with a strong fighting spirit. He swept his gaze across the surrounding meteorites, smiled faintly and ordered. Yes, Dragon King. At this moment, the eyes of the 51 Emperor Gods of the Dragon Palace shone with a violent fighting spirit as they answered loudly. Chapter 29-26, Conquering the Mechanic Emperor Domain 6-inch Ha, Master Creator, let this Dragon King challenge you today. Let me see your strength. In the depths of the Mechanic Emperor Domain, there were countless mechanical planets, battleships, mechas, and androids. Wang Xian stared at the largest battleship in the distance, the Master Creator on the Mechanic Emperor ship. His eyes were filled with fighting spirit. According to the information from the Colored Glaze region, the strength of the Master Creator had reached the Third Order God Emperor realm. As for the Colored Glaze region Master, he believed that the strength of the Master Creator was weaker than him. Hence, Wang Xian was confident that he could kill the Master Creator. He stared at the Master Creator and smiled. The unbeginning saint wings appeared on his back as he charged forward at a terrifying speed. Dragon King of the Dragon Palace. The eyes of the Master Creator on the Mechanic Emperor ship were filled with chilliness. He moved, clenched his fist, and punched towards the void. Kakaka. The gems on his arm shone with a dazzling luster. A fist condensed from lightning bolts blasted towards Wang Xian. Wang Xian flapped his wings slightly and dodged the attack of the Master Creator with ease. In the blink of an eye, he arrived before the Mechanic Emperor ship. What? Such terrifying speed. It's 5 times faster than me. The Master Creator saw Wang Xian dodging his attack with ease. His pupils calculated Wang Xian's speed, and his expression changed. He stared at Wang Xian, who was charging towards him, and waved his arm. Kakaka. On the Mechanic Emperor's ship below, countless cannon holes rose up. Da-da-da-da. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. A group of powerful cannons bombarded towards Wang Xian. Under the bombardment of these cannons, even a mosquito would be crushed. Special metallic bullets and lasers of various attributes were filled with destructive power. Master Creator, do you think you can stop me with your technological weapons? Wang Xian revealed a mocking expression. 2 dragon horns gradually grew out of his head. The dragon horns gave off light and darkness, and a Tai Chi diagram appeared in front of Wang Xian. Peng ping peng. All the attacks landed on the Tai Chi diagram, but they were easily blocked. Clang. The Dragon King is so powerful. The Creator's expression changed drastically, and he immediately retreated. A lightning sword that was more than 10 meters long appeared in his hand. Crackle. He swung his arm and bolts of lightning struck towards Wang Xian. Kakaka. Boom boom boom. At the same time, all the weapons on the Mechanic Emperor ship were aimed at Wang Xian. The entire Mechanical Emperor ship was powerful enough to kill a Second-Order God Emperor. However, such weapons were not of much use to Wang Xian. In front of him, all the attacks landed on the Tai Chi diagram, only causing some ripples. This Creator's attack isn't very strong either. Wang Xian raised his eyebrows slightly when he saw the attack of the thunderous longsword landing before him. If that's all you've got, Creator, then go to hell. Wang Xian shook his body and stretched out his right hand. Dragon Claw. With a low roar, his entire right arm transformed into a dragon claw. Dragon Country in a palm. Wang Xian let out another deep roar. His entire palm instantly expanded to the size of a few million kilometers. Bam! The entire dragon claw directly attacked the Mechanic Emperor warship below. Kakaka! Destructive energy landed on the Mechanic Emperor warship. The terrifying dragon claw penetrated the Mechanic Emperor warship. The strength of this Dragon King. The Creator stared at Wang Xian with a terrible expression. His mind was constantly calculating his chances of winning. At this moment, he saw the Dragon King charging towards him at a terrifying speed. The sky-covering dragon claw was heading towards him. Scram! The creator growled and a hole appeared on his chest. A round ball was launched towards Wang Xian's dragon claw. Boom! A terrifying force exploded in his dragon claw, causing the million-kilometer-long dragon claw to crumble. This is the attack of a third-order God Emperor realm expert. Wang Xian flung the blood off his palm and revealed a smile. In the next moment, his figure disappeared and reappeared 1,000 meters in front of the creator. Such terrifying speed! The creator's expression changed drastically as he roared. Bam! In the next moment, Wang Xian's palm landed on the body of the creator. The terrifying power of the 5 elements caused his body to crumble. Oh no, my body is crumbling. This Dragon King is too strong. Transmit all the information. Transfer the brain to the creation star of the creator. The creator felt the terrifying energy that his body was withstanding. His eyes glowed red as he calculated continuously. Soon, the red light in his eyes disappeared and his body lost all signs of life and vitality. Wang Xian was taken aback. He moved his palm and grabbed the body of the creator in his hand. This isn't his real body. His expression changed slightly as he looked around. Ka. Dragon King, you're courting death. At this moment, a deafening roar came from the front. At the same time, the sound of machinery operating could be heard. Wang Xian lifted his head and looked ahead. His eyes narrowed slightly. In front of him, there was a mechanical planet. A mechanical planet with a diameter of at least a few 100 million kilometers. Around this mechanical planet, there were 18 smaller planets floating in the air. However, at this moment, the planet began to change. Just like the Transformers in the sci-fi movies, the entire mechanical planet turned into a humongous metal giant. What kind of existence was a giant with a diameter of a few 100 million kilometers? Around it, 18 planets the size of ordinary stars were revolving around this giant. At this moment, the 2 huge eyes of the giant shot out 2 lightning pillars. The lightning pillars spanned tens of millions of kilometers and came before Wang Xian in an instant. What a terrifying attack! This creator isn't as simple as the Lioli region thinks. Wang Xian narrowed his eyes. With a swift move, he dodged to the side. Ka. At this moment, Wang Xian saw pitch-black holes appearing on the 18 mechanical planets surrounding the mechanical giant. Rumble, rumble, rumble. From those holes, tracking bombs with a diameter of 100 kilometers were fired. The tracking bombs were headed straight for Wang Xian. This creator seems to be restraining my speed. Wang Xian squinted his eyes. Wang Xian's strongest point now was his speed. With his terrifying speed, he could hit his opponent before they could react and kill them instantly. Absolute speed was the most fearsome thing about absolute defense. Clearly, this humongous body of the creator was a little difficult to deal with. If that's the case, I don't have anything to hide. Dragon transformation. Wang Xian let out a low roar. A roar was heard. Today, 4 chapters will be released first. For more to go. Begging for monthly votes. Begging for monthly votes. Chapter 29-27. Conquering Mechanic Emperor Domains 7 Roar. A roar came from Wang Xian's mouth as a 7-colored divine dragon appeared in front of the giant creator. On the back of the 7-colored divine dragon was a pair of gigantic sacred wings. One of the wings gave off a green glow that didn't belong to the 7-colored divine dragon and was covered with dense dragon scales. The other one was made up of bones and had no wings, which made it look rather strange. However, the aura of the 30,000-meter-long divine dragon contained boundless might. What's this? Divine dragon? Why are there 8 attributes? What's going on? The giant creator stared at the tiny Wang Xian in front of him. His eyes flickered as he analyzed all sorts of data. Also, why did the Dragon Palace suddenly have so many Emperor God experts? The Dragon Palace purposely ordered me to send all the mechanical army over. They want to wipe us out in one fell swoop. Damn the Dragon Palace, damn the Dragon King. The creator's eyes flickered as he scanned the surroundings with rage burning in his heart. If he wasn't in his mechanical form, he would definitely look terrible. At this time, Wang Xian, who had transformed into a divine dragon, moved. He flapped his dragon wings and instantly appeared in front of the creator's chest. Ka. The moment Wang Xian arrived, a hole appeared in the creator's chest and the magma-like law of fire rushed towards him. Wang Xian swayed his body and easily dodged the attack of the magma. Bam bam bam. The dragon tail swept across the waist of the creator. In an instant, sparks flew everywhere. A special liquid flowed out from it. Get lost, Dragon King. I'm going to kill you. The creator roared furiously as he smashed his gigantic fist towards Wang Xian. At this moment, Wang Xian's 30,000-meter tall body was huge. However, he was still tiny in front of the creator. This was like a human facing a monster the size of Earth. Creator, you're the one who's going to die today. Wang Xian's eyes were filled with disdain. He opened his dragon mouth and spat out a long river of destructive energy. Ka. The creator moved his arm and a huge shield appeared on it, blocking the long river of destructive energy. Wang Xian's figure flickered, and in an instant, he appeared at the thigh of the creator. His dragon claws grabbed at it. Bam bam bam. A huge mark that was tens of millions of kilometers long appeared on the creator's right leg. Metal parts could be seen inside. Damn Dragon King. Explode. A wave of boundless power rushed towards his body. The khaki-colored energy collided with Wang Xian. What kind of attack is this? Wang Xian was slightly taken aback. His body was repelled by the massive energy and he kept flying backward. However, in the next instant, Wang Xian arrived above the masters of creation at a terrifying speed. The unbeginning sacred wings flapped, and a huge wind blade slashed at his head. Boom boom boom. Dazzling giant metal swords shot out from his head. The giant metal swords cut through the void and met the wind blade's head-on. Bam. The two terrifying attacks collided, causing the void to explode. Ka. But at this moment, Wang Xian flew to the back of the Master of Creation with a suppressive speed. His dragon claws slashed out a crack that was hundreds of millions of kilometers wide. Waves of light and dark energy entered the body of the Master of Creation. Beep beep beep. His body is severely damaged. The area of damage has reached 35%. The enemy in front of me is undefeatable. Undefeatable. The reminder rang in the mind of the Master of Creation, making him even more furious. Break. Hong long long long. All of a sudden, a voice came from the side, accompanied by a mighty force. Beep beep beep. 300 mechanical planets are damaged. 300 mechanical planets are damaged. 52. 1 billion robots have perished. Warning, warning, you have suffered an attack from a third-order God Emperor. At this moment, the reminder rang in the mind of the Master of Creation again. The massive body of the Master of Creation trembled, and he immediately looked to the side. He saw an old man floating in the middle of a few hundred mechanical planets in the Mechanic Emperor domain. Around him, 300 mechanical planets had lost their energy and were falling downwards. All the robots on the mechanical planets were killed. A third-order God Emperor realm expert. The Dragon Palace still has a third-order God Emperor realm expert. No wonder the Dragon Palace dares to charge in. The mechanical heart of the Master of Creation thumped violently, and rays of death rays shot out from his eyes. Kill. Jia. Kill this group of things that are neither human nor ghost. By the side, the 1.5 million experts of the Dragon Palace were shuttling through the mechanical army. The number of mechanical soldiers was tens of thousands of times that of the Dragon Palace. But in front of the experts of the Dragon Palace, they could not resist at all. The berserk dragons of the 200,000-strong army were fighting against the biohuman army of the Master of Creation. The biohumans could not feel pain or fear. They only knew how to fight. However, the Masters of Creation's most elite biohuman army couldn't resist the berserk dragons' attacks at all. In the entire biohuman army, there were only 4 existences that could rival a first-order God Emperor. But these 4 biohumans were surrounded by 8 God Emperors from the Dragon Palace. The number of God Emperors in the Dragon Palace was too high. It was almost double the number of their mechanical army. There were not many God Emperors in the mechanical army, and there were many battleships that could contend against God Emperors. However, against the Wind Divine Dragon's powerful agility and speed, these battleships were of little use. Battleships of strategic grade and battleships that could contend against God Emperors were rapidly destroyed. As for the battleships that could contend against second-order God Emperors, they were destroyed by the Heaven Formation. The Heaven Formation was not an ordinary third-order God Emperor realm expert. 1,000,000 devouring dragons were tearing at the mechas and battleships excitedly. Their huge bodies were not any smaller than the mechas and battleships. Their 18 claws could destroy the mechas as long as they got close to them. As for the arrow dragons, they were the natural enemies of these battleships, robots, and mechas. Under the defense of the Imperial Dragon species, they unscrupulously shot and killed. In fact, one of Mao Zedong's arrows could even blow up a mechanical planet. A magical battlefield appeared in the void. Terrifying monsters were rapidly killing all kinds of battleships, and armors. This was a one-sided battle. According to the analysis, the enemy has the ability to suppress us. In at most an hour, all our robots will be destroyed. Warning, warning, evacuate quickly. Evacuate quickly. The Master of Creation looked at all of this, and the calculated data was transmitted to his mind. Chapter 29-28, Conquering the Mechanic Emperor Domain 8-inch Warning. Warning. Evacuate immediately. Evacuate immediately. The urgent warning rang in the Creator's mind, causing him to be shocked and furious. The strength of the Dragon Palace was so terrifying. The strength of the Dragon King was so strong. With his current giant body, he wouldn't be afraid even if he were to face an territorial lord or a creator. This body of his had gathered the best treasures and metals in the entire Mechanic Emperor domain. In the core, there were a large number of secret treasures that provided him with energy. However, facing the terrifying speed of the Dragon King, he couldn't put up any resistance. To him, such terrifying speed wasn't something a third-order God Emperor could possess. I can't win. No, I can't just run like this. I must kill a divine dragon. As long as I kill a divine dragon, I can earn back my losses. The Creator was calculating in his mind. When he saw the Dragon King attacking him again, he let out a low roar. Boom, boom, boom. On his body, incomparably powerful weapons blasted towards Wang Xian. Bullets forged with God Emperor-grade metals, powerful laser weapons, and cannonballs that could easily destroy a dozen planets. Endless energy surged towards Wang Xian. Target the Wind Divine Dragons. All mechanical armies, kill a Wind Divine Dragon at all costs. At the same time, he gave an order in his heart. Kakaka. Kill a divine dragon. At this moment, all the biohumans, mechanical battleships, and warships on the battlefield suddenly changed their targets and attacked the 9 Wind Divine Dragons in a frenzy. The 9 Wind Divine Dragons that were wreaking havoc were shocked when all the robots on the battlefield suddenly changed their targets. Given their strength, they weren't strong enough to fight against all the mechanical armies here. Ao Feng, be careful. These guys are targeting you. I think they want to kill you. When Prime Minister Turtle saw this scene, he immediately reminded loudly. All Dragon Palace God Emperors, pin down the guys in front of you. Don't let them break free and attack the Wind Divine Dragons. He roared again. Why are they attacking us so crazily? We can't even kill as many as the devouring dragons. A female Wind Divine Dragon shouted softly, expressing her dissatisfaction. Boom, boom, boom. However, in the next moment, countless attacks swarmed towards him. Boeo. The Wind Divine Dragon let out a startled roar and dodged to the side. Sky Formation was slightly taken aback when he saw the robot army targeting the 9 Wind Divine Dragons. With a wave of his arm, defensive arrays capable of withstanding a second-order Immortal God King realm expert flew towards the 9 Wind God Dragons. Thank you, Sir Celestial Array, for your support. Kill. The 9 Divine Wind Dragons let out a low roar as they sensed the defensive array formation in front of them. Their huge bodies withstood the barrage of countless weapons and charged towards the warframe mecha one after another. Boom boom boom. Their huge claws grabbed onto the fighter jets, causing them to collapse. Damn it, damn it. The Master of Creation sensed the information that was being transmitted to him and started to panic. He discovered that the Array Master from the Dragon Palace was extremely powerful. He could not be compared to an ordinary Third-Order God Emperor realm expert. According to Huang Xiaolong's calculations, a Dragon King and a powerful Formation Master could fight against 5 to 6 Third-Order Immortal God King realm experts at the same time. How could the Mechanic Emperor domain fight against them? Calculated winning rate is 0. Winning rate is 0. Suggestion to escape. Escape immediately. The notifications kept ringing in the mind of the Master of Creation. As he watched the Dragon King slash through his body easily, he was filled with rage. At this moment, he knew that he was definitely not a match for the Dragon King. At this point, he could only escape. I'm not resigned to this. Our Mechanic Emperor domain has no feud with the Dragon Palace. Why are you attacking us? The Master of Creation roared at Wang Xian furiously. Hee, Master of Creation, don't you find it hilarious to say such words? Wang Xian sneered at the Master of Creation. Roar. Wang Xian let out a low roar and moved towards the head of the Master of Creation in an instant. Zzz. A pale white aura shot towards Wang Xian from the humongous head of the Master of Creation. However, Wang Xian easily dodged this attack. The unbeginning saint wings on his back drew a long scar on his head. The scar went deep into the center of his head. At this moment, the Master of Creation was in a terrible state. Go to hell, Dragon King. All of a sudden, the Creator let out an extremely violent roar. His 2 arms flew out from his body and blasted towards Wang Xian. Each arm was the size of a planet. They were forged with powerful metals and were the culmination of the highest technology in the Mechanic Emperor domain. Boom, boom boom boom. The 2 arms chased after Wang Xian. Flames were emitting from the palms and were exceptionally terrifying. Wang Xian was also vigilant against the desperate attacks of the Master of Creation. Skipped. At this moment, a hole appeared on the chest of the Master of Creation. In the hole, there was a mechanical brain. The entire brain was enveloped by the dazzling radiant principle and blue radiant liquid as it flew out from the body of the Master of Creation. The speed at which it flew out was exceptionally terrifying. Wang Xian, who was dodging the attacks of the 2 humongous arms, sensed something escaping. His eyes narrowed as he stared at the heart. What's that? The core of the Master of Creation? He's trying to escape. Wang Xian narrowed his eyes and swayed his body. Unleashing the unbeginning sacred wings to its limits, the dragon claws attacked the 2 arms in a frenzy. Ka-ka-ka. Sounds of destruction could be heard coming from the arms. Heaven Array, let's destroy the Master of Creation together. Wang Xian roared immediately. Yes, Dragon King. At this moment, the threat here had been eliminated by the Heaven Array. All the warships and weapons that could unleash the power of a second-order God Emperor had been destroyed by him. Hearing the order of the Dragon King, the Heaven Array did not hesitate and quickly set up an array. Split. Dragon King, be careful. Soon an array was formed. Rays of intersecting light appeared in front of the Master of Creation and attacked the giant body of the Master of Creation. Boom boom boom. The Master of Creation stared at the intersecting light rays and immediately raised a humongous defense to defend against the intersecting light rays. Pung ping pung. The array split landed on the defense of the Master of Creation, causing the metal defense to crack apart gradually. However, the energy of the array split was also depleted. At this moment, Wang Xian charged over and clawed at the head of the Master of Creation. Chapter 29-29 Treasures of the Mechanic Emperor Domain 1 Bam Bam Bam. The sound of metal cracking was heard. The gigantic head of the Master of Creation was torn apart from the center by Wang Xian. Swoosh. At this moment, Wang Xian's unparalleled saint wings flapped violently as he dived down through the hole in the head. Ka-ka-ka. Dragon King, you bunch of damned bastards. I won't let you off. I won't let you off. At this moment, the roar of the Master of Creation was heard from the mechanical heart 10 billion kilometers away. This heart contained his core energy, as well as all of his technological data. As long as he had this heart, he would be able to rise rapidly. Moreover, to prevent such accidents from happening, he had made preparations in advance. Soon, he would be able to recover to his peak. At that time, he would make the Dragon Palace pay the price, invading the Mechanic Emperor domain and annihilating the robots. They would have to bear the consequences. The mechanical heart of the Master of Creation was flying rapidly. Similarly, he could still control the entire mechanical army. But looking at the rapid collapse of the mechanical army, his heart was beating violently. Beep, 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 the giant's mechanical body has completely collapsed. The robot army only has 33% of its strength left. It is recommended to evacuate quickly. There is a 0.5% chance that 1% of the robot army can escape. Information was transmitted into the consciousness of the Master of Creation, causing his heart to beat violently. Evacuate. He immediately gave an order. The robot army wants to evacuate. Don't let them escape. On the battlefield, the robot army received the orders of the Master of Creation and began to evacuate. Prime Minister Turtle immediately gave the order to chase and kill. The Wind Divine Dragons locked onto the androids that were running away quickly, easily catching up to them and killing them quickly. Sky Formation. At this moment, Wang Xian stood on the giant body of the Master of Creation and shouted at Sky Formation. Dragon King, has the Master of Creation been dealt with? Sky Formation asked immediately. No, something that looks like a core escaped. Lock onto him. Wang Xian shook his head and immediately ordered Sky Formation. Yes, Dragon King. Leave it to me. Even if he is a special life form, I can lock onto him with the information from this body. Sky Formation revealed a confident look. At this moment, the creator had just escaped, so it was extremely easy to find him. The Heavenly Formation immediately set up an array formation on the Master of Creation's giant body, searching for the Master of Creation's location. Buzz. The Dragon King has found it. He's here, more than 130 billion kilometers away from us. Tianjin immediately said. Come, let's chase after them. Prime Minister Turtle, I'll leave this to you. Wang Xian moved and turned into a human figure. With a flap of the unbeginning sacred wings, a gust of wind enveloped the Sky Formation and chased after the creator rapidly. The figures of the two quickly disappeared. Dragon King, that Master of Creation is 3 times slower than us. We can catch up to him in 3 minutes. Tianjin looked at the array formation in front of him and said to Wang Xian. All right, that creator's core is escaping toward the center of the Mechanic Emperor domain. He should still have some trump cards. Wang Xian's eyes flickered. Given the wisdom of the creator, it's impossible that he didn't leave a way out for himself. I guess he still has his body and strength hidden. If he had directly transferred the information, the array formation wouldn't have been able to lock onto him. However, he didn't and escaped directly. Perhaps the core that he is residing in is very important. Tianjin analyzed. If that's the case, let's follow behind him and see what his trump cards are. Wang Xian squinted his eyes and flew at high speed. Oh no, that Dragon King seems to be chasing after me. I need to change direction. At the same time, the creator received the information from the battlefield and caught sight of Wang Xian and Tianjin chasing after him. He was shocked and quickly changed his direction. At the same time, he immediately searched for all the information about Array Masters. Based on the records, Array Masters have powerful means of pursuit. They can track a person's location through their hair and even clothes. Array Masters' means of pursuit are exceptionally terrifying. I suggest entering a special environment to erase your aura and shake off the tracking of Array Masters. Information appeared in the mind of the creator and he cursed under his breath. Search the star map and search for the special environment of the Mechanic Emperor domain. Fly over immediately. The creator immediately calculated and searched. Great, I'm in luck. There's a special area on the right, a thunderbolt area. My mechanical heart is extremely immune to thunderbolts. The creator thought to himself as he quickly changed his direction. The creator is changing his direction. Dragon King, he should know that we are chasing after him. He should also know about the means of array masters. Tianjin, who was at the back, raised his eyebrows and said when he saw the creator suddenly changing his direction, "Don't worry, we'll be able to catch up to him soon. When the time comes, we'll follow behind." Wang Xian squinted his eyes and increased his speed. He entered a thunderbolt area. That area has some effect on my array formation, but it's not a big problem. Tianjin said quickly, "I see it." At this time, Wang Xian also saw an area filled with thunderbolts in front of him. The yin-yang 5 elements dragon eyes scanned ahead and soon saw a blurry figure. "Found it." Wang Xian's face lit up and his lips curved. "Let's see where you can escape to." He murmured, "Beep beep." According to the analysis, this thunderbolt has a certain effect on the array master. There's a 60% chance that he will lose his ability to lock on. At this moment, the creator was calculating the searching ability of the array master. Soon he got a figure. 60% is not enough. Search the next special area and head to the next special area. Burn energy and increase my speed. The creator murmured and his speed suddenly increased by 2 times. His speed has increased. Wang Xian was slightly shocked when he saw the creator suddenly increase his speed. He quickly followed behind. With his speed, it was still a piece of cake for him to keep up with the mechanical heart of the creator. His eyes were locked on as he followed behind. At this moment, the creator no longer had any equipment and was completely unaware that Wang Xian was following behind him. But what Wang Xian did not expect was that the Master of Creation would fly towards a special place. There was no sign of him going to his own base. Beep beep beep. Passing through the black hole and passing through the interference of black hole particles, the Array Master has an 8% chance of locking on. Beep beep. Enveloping the heavenly flame liquid, the Array Master has a 7.33% chance of locking on. Chapter 29:30, Treasures of the Mechanic Emperor Domain 2-inch beep beep beep, flowing through Min Tianhe and cleansed by the Tianhe River. Array Master's lock-on success rate is 6.37%. Beep beep beep, passing through the chaotic energy tide. Array Master's lock-on success rate is 4.67%. Beep beep beep, fusing with ozone metal. Array Master's lock-on success rate is 1.5%. In the void of the Mechanic Emperor domain, the Master of Creation passed through many special places after precise calculations. Through various methods, he lowered his aura and interfered with the lock-on of the Array Master. Passing through these special places, he flew in the void for a total of 2 months. Behind him, even Wang Xian was shocked by the patience of the Master of Creation. In 2 months, he went to many special places to get rid of the lock-on of the Array Master. Such perseverance and patience were really strong. Dragon King, this Master of Creation is really a talent. After going through so many special places, I can't find any information about him anymore even though I'm using the parts of the Master of Creation's giant body to search. At the side, Tianjin pursed his lips and said with a face full of surprise. The Master of Creation was different from ordinary creatures. He was a mechanical creature. The things obtained from the body of his mechanical giant were essentially just tainted with his aura and not a part of his body. Therefore, the Master of Creation used this method to go through the baptism of various special places to change his aura. This change caused the Tianjin to be unable to lock on to the Master of Creation. He's indeed an existence that has lived for billions of years. Even if there's a slight chance of being found, he'll eliminate this chance. However, he probably didn't expect that I'm already chasing after him. Wang Xian nodded slightly and locked his eyes on the dazzling mechanical heart in front of him. Beep beep beep, the lock-on success rate of the Array Master is 0. At this moment, after the Master of Creation passed through a special place, according to his calculations, the lock-on success rate of the Array Master was 0. This made him heave a sigh of relief. However, I still can't be careless. Logically speaking, the Dragon King's speed is very fast and the Array Master is very strong. He might have already caught up to me and might be following me. Probability calculation. Probability is 51.3%. The master of creation quickly circulated his thoughts and gave an order. Scout planes, with me as the center, fly in from all directions and scan every corner of space. After the master of creation gave the order, he flew towards a direction. This guy can't possibly have the patience to fly in the Mechanic Emperor's domain for a few years, right? Wang Xian followed closely behind the creator and his face darkened. This creator is too smart and alert. Dragon King, we have to be careful. It's best if we can completely conceal ourselves. Heavenly Formation said to him, "Yes, I also have roving demon's concealment ability. This kind of light and darkness concealment ability can avoid the detection of spell formations and technology. Sky Formation, you go into the nest first." Wang Xian nodded his head slightly. With a shift of his mind, his body gradually turned illusory. Over the next few days, Wang Xian became even more cautious. He unleashed his concealment ability to the maximum and followed behind the creator. Other than occasionally communicating with Prime Minister Turtle, there was nothing else. Later on, Wang Xian even cut off all contact with Prime Minister Turtle and put away all the communication stone plates to prevent any accidents. Haha, this is awesome. These resources are too much. While Wang Xian, Heavenly Formation, and the rest were chasing after the mechanical heart of the creator, Roving Crab and the rest of the devouring dragons let out excited roars. Robots, battleships, armors, fighter aircrafts, and mechanical planets were all resources for the devouring dragons to improve. An hour after Wang Xian and the rest left, all the robots were slain. Next, it was time for Roving Crab and the rest to celebrate. The Mechanic Emperor's domain was different from the other domains. The resources in the other domains were very scattered. However, the resources in the Mechanic Emperor's domain were all concentrated in the hands of the robots and the creator. How many billions of years worth of treasures would there be in the entire star region? And if all these treasures were used to create robots, how terrifying would they be? One could imagine just by looking at those mechanical planets. What kind of massive amount of resources would it take to create a war planet with powerful metals? There were also the hundreds of billions of robots. One had to know that even the weakest of the robots had the strength of a god master. There were also over 1 million god kings. In addition, there were the huge battleships that could rival a god emperor's battleships, mechas, and fighter aircrafts. Most importantly, there was the giant body of the creator. The entire giant body had been modified into a biological metal that possessed the destructive power of a void god emperor. How many treasures had been used to create such a huge body? There was another very important point. How many resources would be used to create a robot with the combat power of a god king? A human god king expert might have cultivated for tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or even millions of years to reach such a realm. They might have used all sorts of treasures and absorbed the spiritual energy of heaven and earth to reach such a realm. But robots could not cultivate or absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. If they wanted to improve, they could only rely on all sorts of resources. This also meant that the resources contained in the bodies of robots were 10 times or more than what an ordinary God King expert could convert with his God nation. In layman terms, the energy contained in a First-Order God King realm robot was 10 times or more than a First-Order God King expert. A robot corpse could fight against 10 human corpses of the same level. That was how terrifying it was. This was the reason why Roving Crab and the group of devouring dragons were so excited. To the devouring dragon race, the improvement this time wasn't just 1 or 2 times, but 10 times or more. TSK, Roving Crab has really struck it rich this time. Crazy. Even if we annihilate the region of evil spirits in the future, we won't be as powerful as the devouring dragon. Yamada Demon Shah and the rest said enviously. Even Mao Zedong, Aochi, and Roving Heavens were envious. This time, the devouring dragon was going crazy. Soon, the strength of the devouring dragon could crush all the other dragon species in the Dragon Palace. 2 months after Wang Xian chased after the creator with the heavenly formation, Excited roars of breakthroughs could be heard from the battlefield. At the location of the giant body of the creator, Roving Crab was still devouring energy and depleting it rapidly. As the body of the creator, how could it possess such a huge amount of resources? Currently, Roving Crab and 9 devouring dragons were digesting the body of the creator. Perhaps it wouldn't take long for them to possess the strength of a third-order God Emperor. Today, Chapter 8 has ended. Chapter 2931. Prime Minister Turtle, the devouring dragons have improved tremendously this time. Our dragon palace has produced many emperor gods. Around the battlefield of the Mechanic Emperor domain, the 500,000 troops of the dragon palace guarded the perimeter. The emperor gods of the dragon palace gathered together. They looked enviously at the devouring dragons devouring the mechanical army and asked Prime Minister Turtle. The improvement this time is terrifying. This is the accumulation of the entire Mechanic Emperor domain over billions of years. However, the Dragon King sent me a message saying that he might not be able to contact him for the time being. The Dragon King is now following the Creator. According to the Dragon King, the Creator still has a trump card. Prime Minister Turtle said with a smile. The Creator still has a trump card? It can't be? Doesn't that mean that the Mechanic Emperor domain still has a lot of resources? Emosha couldn't help but ask. As an existence that has ruled this region for billions of years, how can he not have any special trump cards? I guess the Creator still has a secret base that he kept as a backup. Prime Minister Turtle nodded. Doesn't that mean that Roving Crab and the rest will get more resources? Orochi and the rest couldn't help but ask. Something like that. Prime Minister Turtle said plainly. Roving Crab and the rest are going to counterattack. Once these fellows level up, we'll make them our coolies. That's right. Let them help us look for resources. I'm really jealous now. The Emperor Gods of the Dragon Palace exclaimed. They guarded the perimeter to prevent anyone from disturbing the devouring dragon's improvement. In the center of the Mechanic Emperor domain, Wang Xian continued to follow the extremely cautious creator with a black face. Time passed day by day. While the Dragon Palace was conquering the Mechanic Imperial domain, the Colored Glaze region, which was located at the location of the Lioli region, had been preparing for a counterattack after 2 months. 2 months ago, the Dragon Palace invaded the Mechanic Emperor domain and resolved the crisis in the Lioli domain. The domain master led the evacuated soldiers back to the center of the Lioli domain. This matter caused an uproar in the entire Lioli domain. However, in these 2 months, the army of the Lioli domain gathered and 3 emperor gods from the sacred region came to help. After 2 months of investigation and gathering all kinds of information, the Lioli domain was prepared to attack the demons in the Devil region. They would kill all the demons that entered the Lioli domain and hide in a territory that didn't belong to the Lioli domain. This was not a small matter. After all, they had decided to kill more than 10 god emperors and evil beasts. After 2 months of preparation, countless experts and soldiers gathered in a starry sky near the demon region of Lioli region. On a battle platform that stretched for tens of billions of kilometers, the elites of the entire Lioli region gathered. This time, our goal is to annihilate all the demons in the Lioli domain. Leave none alive. In the meeting room in the center of the fighting ring, there were a total of 31 emperor gods sitting inside, including the 3 emperor gods from the sanctuary. The leader of the domain lords said to all the celestial emperors with a cold expression. The sudden invasion of the demons from the Chi-Mei region caught the Colored Glaze region off guard, and 5 of their emperor gods had perished. Moreover, the humans on more than a dozen planets were hunted by the demons. This time, they were preparing to counterattack and exterminate all the invading demons. Region Lord, if it weren't for the Mechanic Emperor region intentionally pressuring us, we would have been able to slaughter our way into the demon region with our strength. Kill all the demons and take revenge for Brother Shui and the rest. Region Lord, with our strength, killing the invading emperor gods and evil beasts will be a piece of cake. I suggest we attack the demon region and kill those demons and evil beasts. That's right. Take revenge for our fallen soldiers. The emperor gods from the Colored Glaze region roared with murderous intent. Let's get rid of the demons and evil beasts that invaded our colored glaze region first. The region lord leaned back on the chair and said faintly, "Region lord, if the Dragon Palace can really wipe out or even severely injure the Mechanic Emperor region, I think we can attack the demon region and make those beasts pay the price." A emperor god from the colored glaze region said coldly, "Oh yes, region lord, how's the situation at the Dragon Palace? It's been 2 months, and there's no news at all." The Supreme First Elder couldn't help but ask, "There's still no news about the Dragon Palace. I just sent a message to the Dragon King, but there's no reply." The region lord replied and glanced around. "This time, we'll take care of the demons and evil beasts in our region first. As for those outside the region, we'll act according to the situation. After all, the demon region has been in turmoil recently. Now, order all the soldiers to get ready to move out. We'll make those beasts pay with their blood." "Yes, region lord. Yes." The region lord gave the order, and all the experts and core disciples of the entire colored glaze region started moving. They charged towards the demons and evil beasts. Mobilizing the power of the colored glaze region, dealing with those demons and evil beasts was naturally a piece of cake. In the next few days, the colored glaze region received many reports of victory. In just half a month, the colored glaze region killed 8 Emperor God level demons and countless other levels of demons and evil beasts. Demon lairs were destroyed one after another, and not a single demon escaped. The region occupied by the demons and evil beasts was quickly retracted. However, a month later, when the army of the colored glaze region was about to reach the border of the demon region, something unexpected happened. Just when the people of the colored glaze region thought that they could sweep the entire demon region, and even when countless civilians and soldiers requested to kill their way into the inner regions of the demon region, at the border of the demon region, an incomparably huge demon lairs suddenly appeared. The entire demon lairs were the size of a dozen planets, dozens of times bigger than ordinary demon lairs. From time to time, terrifying roars could be heard coming from the depths of the demon lairs. The soldiers of the colored glaze region were about to reach the border of the demon region, but countless demons and evil beasts surged out of the demon lairs. Among them, there were more than 20 God Emperor level demons and evil beasts. But this wasn't the most important thing. The most important thing was that there was a leader in the demon lairs, a Void Third Order God Emperor realm leader. That Void Third Order God Emperor demon led his army of demons and engaged in a huge battle with the colored glaze region. In that battle, the colored glaze region had the upper hand, but they couldn't defeat that group of demons and evil beasts. This made the expressions of the people of the colored glaze region extremely ugly. Who would have thought that the demon region would be so ferocious? There are more than 30 God Emperors of evil beasts that have appeared. If not for the fact that we have killed about 10 of them, I'm afraid it would be a huge problem. This colored glaze region is too dangerous. 1.5 months later, Invincible Battle Law stood on the battle platform, looking at the void in front of him. Initially, he thought that by relying on the strength of the colored glaze region, it would be easy to exterminate the demons and that there wouldn't be any danger. This led him to personally go up to the battlefield to kill some demons and evil beasts. But yesterday's battle caused him to shiver. Invincible God Dragon Training System will continue to be updated on the mobile game bar. There will be no advertisements in the website, so please collect and recommend the mobile game bar. Everyone who likes the Invincible God Dragon Training System, please collect. Invincible God Dragon Training System. Chapter 2932, Treasure of Mechanic Emperor Domain 4-inch Master. Isn't the feng shui of colored glaze region good? Isn't colored glaze region the #1 region? Given their strength, shouldn't they be able to destroy enchantment region easily? What's going on? On the battle platform, Invincible asked the God Emperor of Upper Water with a bitter expression. At this moment, the God Emperor of Upper Water frowned. His face was solemn. He looked at Invincible but was not in the mood to scold him. According to Colored Glaze's investigation, enchantment region has undergone great changes. Currently, enchantment region is extremely dangerous. Our scouts from Colored Glaze region dare not continue to investigate, he said with a deep voice. His expression changed slightly. He stared ahead with a gloomy gaze. In the void ahead, there was an incomparably huge demon cave. Roars could be heard from the demon cave from time to time. That demon cave was the lair of the Third Order God Emperor Demon. Experts from Colored Glaze region did not dare to barge into the huge demon cave in the void. Who would have thought that Enchantment region would undergo such a horrifying change? That such a terrifying existence would invade their Colored Glaze region. Master, this Colored Glaze region is too dangerous. They even said that they would invade Enchantment region. Now, they haven't even killed all the demons in Colored Glaze region. If more powerful demons fly out of Enchantment region, wouldn't it be another tragic war? Master, I think it's better for us to leave this place. Invincible whispered to his master. The God Emperor of Upper Water looked at him without saying a word. Qingshan. At this moment, a voice came from the side. The First Supreme Elder flew over. First Supreme Elder. The God Emperor of Upper Water nodded. It's the time of calamity. The First Supreme Elder came to the side of the God Emperor of Upper Water and sighed. That's right. Who would have thought that it would be like this? The God Emperor of Upper Water sighed. The sudden appearance of the demon cave had disrupted all their plans. Now that those demons are hiding in the demon cave, we don't have any good ideas. We don't dare to barge in recklessly. The First Supreme Elder frowned slightly. He pondered for a while before looking at Invincible and said, Invincible, have you contacted the Dragon King recently? I did, but I didn't. The Dragon Palace should be ravaging the Mechanic Emperor region now. Invincible said with a smile. It's been more than 3 months since the Dragon Palace left for the Mechanic Emperor domain. If there's a strong suppression force, the Dragon Palace should be able to return by now. Why haven't they returned yet? The First Supreme Elder said and frowned slightly. With the strength of Dragon Palace, there won't be any problem. Boss Wang and the others are very strong. Invincible didn't think too much about it and replied. If the Dragon Palace can come back, we can also ask the Dragon King for help. The First Supreme Elder said faintly. Looking at the demon den ahead, a look of worry could be seen on his face. Things were developing in a direction that the Lioli region could not control. Time passed day by day. On the Colored Glaze region side, the huge demon's den stood tall in the void. None of the experts and soldiers of the Colored Glaze region could do anything about it. 10 days later, a terrifying roar came from the depths of the Enchantment region, which was located behind the huge devil's lair. Under the shocked gazes of everyone in the Colored Glaze region, another 3 gigantic devil lairs flew out of the Enchantment region. Accompanying them were countless terrifying demons and monsters. The one leading them was similarly a void Third Order God Emperor. This guy is too vigilant. The reconnaissance aircraft have searched him thrice. More than a month has passed. Wang Xian did not know what was happening in the Colored Glaze region. At this moment, Wang Xian had been following this master of creation for more than 3 months. In these 3 months, Wang Xian had seen what vigilance was and what it meant to be foolproof. If not for his powerful concealment ability, he would have been discovered. Once he was discovered, Wang Xian was sure that this master of creation would abandon the mechanical heart and transfer his information. The reason why he was so vigilant and hid in the void for more than 3 months was also because the mechanical heart was of great use to him. Staring at the mechanical heart in front of him, Wang Xian was prepared to fight it out. I've checked a radius of more than 1 trillion kilometers, and there are no traces of me being followed. Now I can return with peace of mind. Dragon King, you have put us, the master of creation, in such a pathetic state. One day, I'll make your Dragon Palace pay the price. At this moment, the Master of Creation's voice was a little sinister as he controlled the mechanical heart and flew towards a direction. He increased his speed and rushed towards a direction. Could it be that he is going to his hidden base? Wang Xian was delighted as he followed behind cautiously. Soon, a chaotic region appeared in front of him. Meteorites covered the entire void. It was a mess when one entered it. There were barren planets and continental plates. In the middle, there was an incomparably huge forest. This was a very special forest. The forest was deathly silent, and there were no living creatures. The master of creation flew towards the forest. After flying for half an hour, Wang Xian saw him burrowing into the soil of the forest. Seems like it's here. Wang Xian was delighted as he followed behind immediately. His yin-yang 5 elements dragon eyes penetrated the soil and stared at the master of creation. TSK, TSK, TSK. To think that he is hiding in a void crack in the soil of this forest. If I didn't follow him, I would never have found this place. Wang Xian murmured as he moved slightly at the spot where the master of creation disappeared. Swoosh! A void crack appeared in front of him and Wang Xian entered it directly. At the same time, he waved his arm and released the heaven array from the mother nest. This is? After coming out of the heaven array, he scanned the surroundings with a shocked expression. Who would have thought that the master of creation would have such a trump card? Wang Xian was a little shocked as he looked at the location below. Located below was a special world. Huge machinery factories stood in the void crevice. In the middle was a metal castle. Around the castle, 5 huge battle armors floated. It was a sea of machinery, a world of machinery. Luckily I, the master of creation, left a way out for myself. Wait for my revenge. In the middle of the castle, the master of creation's mechanical heart flew into the central hall. He looked at a 3-meter-tall steel body sitting on a throne in front of him as his heart beat excitedly. This is my second body. If not for the fact that there is only one energy driving this body, the Mechanic Emperor domain would have 2/3 Order God Emperor realm existences. Otherwise, I would have destroyed the colored glaze region to obtain a huge improvement. Damn it. One day, I will destroy the colored glaze region and the Dragon Palace. Chapter 2933. The Creator. The reason why he escaped with the mechanical heart was because of the body on the throne. The most important part of a robot was the actuator, the energy source that supported the entire body. The mechanical heart that he controlled was the only core in the Mechanic Emperor domain that could allow him to unleash the strength of a 3rd Order God Emperor. The value of this core was far from what his body could compare to. The body could be created, but there was only one core. Only this core could allow him to control the body of a 3rd Order God Emperor and unleash the strength of a 3rd Order God Emperor. The Creator stared at the body in front of him and flew over immediately. Beep beep beep. Warning, warning, unknown person has entered. Warning, warning, unknown person has entered. At this moment, the entire mechanical territory rang with a hurried sound. Red warning lights flashed above the mechanical castle and the surrounding factories. What? The Creator's mechanical heart froze and let out a low growl. His heart pounded as he quickly flew toward the body in front of him. Beep, fusing with the body, 1%, 2%, 3%. The moment he entered the body, he immediately sensed the space around him. In the next instant, he saw 2 figures descending into the castle at a terrifying speed. What? How is this possible? How can they still be following behind me? I've done my calculations. I'm 100% sure that I'm not courting death. How is this possible? The master of creation immediately stood up. His face was filled with shock and anger, and his expression kept changing. Bam! At this moment, a loud sound came from above the castle. Wang Xian and the heavenly array landed in the castle and stared at the Creator with a smile. Master of creation, it's been more than 3 months. You took more than 3 months to return here. You're really meticulous. Wang Xian stared at the Creator and revealed a smile. Dragon King, how did you avoid my detection? How did you do it? The Creator stood up and questioned loudly. Your calculations can only calculate what you know. There are many things that you don't know. Wang Xian stared at the Creator and smiled faintly. Rumble. In the next instant, Wang Xian moved. His arms turned into dragon claws and grabbed at the Creator. Looking at Wang Xian's attack, the Creator could sense that his mechanical heart had yet to fully integrate with his body. His expression changed drastically as he screamed in fear. Bam! Wang Xian's dragon claws clawed the body of the Creator directly. The powerful force caused the entire body to emit a loud sound. What a tough body. Wang Xian raised his eyebrows slightly. A wave of destructive energy struck the creator from the dragon claw. Zzz. A unique voice came from the creator's body. Warning, warning, your body has been attacked by a powerful energy. Please remove it immediately, please remove it immediately. A warning sounded in the creator's mind, and his face was hideous. Now that his body had not completely fused with it, he could not completely control it. Dragon King. An angry roar came from his mouth as he stared at Wang Xian with murderous eyes. Bam. Courting death. Wang Xian stared at the master creator. His other arm turned into a dragon claw and slammed heavily at the master creator. At the side, heavenly formations set up a formation. Isolate the space and build a new space. I think if the creator wants to escape directly, you might need a signal. If I seal this place and there is no signal, how will you escape, creator? Heavenly formations stared at the master creator and said plainly. No. Dragon King, I'm warning you. If you dare to kill this body of mine, I'll never let you off. I'll definitely make your dragon palace pay a heavy price. I have a life backup. If you erase this consciousness of mine, my life backup will be rebooted immediately. Let me go. As long as you let me go, I'll never go against the dragon palace in the future. Otherwise, we'll fight to the death. When the master creator heard heavenly formation's words, his face turned even uglier. However, he still threatened with a ferocious and furious expression. Heavenly formation frowned slightly when he heard him. I have to say, such a powerful robot is really hard to deal with. As he spoke, he shook his head helplessly. Hee, I don't care if you have a life backup. The reason why I've been chasing you for so long is because of the treasures here. Wang Xian stared at the master creator and said sarcastically. Bam. He waved his dragon claws and streams of horrifying energy rushed into his body. Kakaka. Waves of terrifying tearing force slowly tore off his body parts one by one. Bam. He forcefully smashed open the chest area. The mechanical heart was beating violently inside. It was transmitting energy. Wang Xian grabbed it with his dragon claws and sized it up in his hands. Dragon King, I'll never let you off. I, the master creator, will never let the dragon palace off. The shrill roar of the master creator came from the mechanical heart. This energy is so strong. I wonder if Roving Crab and the rest can devour it. Wang Xian ignored the roar of the master creator as he sized up the energy source of the master creator and said plainly. As for the revenge of the master creator, he didn't take it to heart. Even if the master creator still had the so-called life backup. After obtaining the resources of the entire Mechanic Emperor domain, what could the master creator use to take revenge on the Dragon Palace? Dragon King, this should be an energy core created by the master creator using a powerful treasure. To the devouring dragon, this is a huge treasure. Heavenly Formation walked over, looked at the mechanical heart and said, Wang Xian chuckled. He held it in his hands and looked around. A void third-order God Emperor body and a mechanical castle made of peak immortal God King materials. This was merely a part of the trump card of the Master Creator. Let's go and check out the treasures in this space. Let's see if there are any more supreme treasures. Wang Xian said to Heavenly Formation with a smile as he flew towards the surroundings. The mechanical heart of the Master Creator in Wang Xian's hands let out a furious roar when it heard them. Self-elimination, activate life backup. He gave a command in despair as he stared at Wang Xian. Within the mechanical heart, all the information belonging to the Master Creator disappeared. The king looked at the mechanical heart in his hands and smiled faintly when he felt a portion of the energy disappearing. There's a special factory here with strong energy. It should be the treasury of the Master Creator. He sensed everything in this space and flew towards the right. Life Experiment Treasury. Chapter 2934. Treasure of Mechanic Emperor Domain 6-inch. What a dense energy. As soon as he entered the Life Experiment Treasure Vault, he felt a surge of boundless energy. This is? A semi-finished product? When he entered, he looked around in amazement. Inside the treasure vault of the life experiment, there were many bottles and jars. These bottles and jars were filled with plants, fruits, and the like. They were enveloped by a transparent liquid. Even though they were placed in the bottles, the boundless energy was still leaking out. Dragon King, this seems to be a semi-finished product. The energy in these bottles has been decomposed and fused with a type of biometal. This is the special energy in the android. Tianjin walked over to a bottle, opened it, and said, "This should be a treasure of the entire Mechanic Emperor domain. It's a pity that it has been processed and can only be absorbed by the devouring dragons." Wang Xian looked around the entire treasure vault. The treasure vault wasn't huge, about 50 kilometers wide. However, there were many treasures in it. These resources were enough to create a mechanical army for the creator. Indeed, the devouring dragons will be able to improve tremendously this time. Tianjin said, "The information in the robot army should have been digested by the devouring dragons. Contact Prime Minister Turtle, Ao Xie, and the rest and get them to absorb these." Wang Xian said to Tianjin with a smile. Tianjin nodded and took out the communication stone plate. This special space can block all kinds of signals. He looked at the communication stone plate and raised an eyebrow. He flew out and tore the space apart to pass the message to Prime Minister Turtle. At this moment, Prime Minister Turtle's excited roars were heard continuously. 10 devouring dragons with a length of 30,000 meters were flying around. Their faces were brimming with excitement. In the surrounding area, there were several huge devouring dragons flying in the surrounding void. "They're getting cocky. Ao Xie and the rest are getting cocky." Orochi and the rest couldn't help but comment. "Damn, he has 1,000,000 subordinates, and the weakest is a 7th-order immortal god king. There are over 100 god emperors and 9 3rd-order god emperors. Ao Xie is so enviable." The group of Dragon Palace leaders were jealous. This time, the devouring dragons had improved tremendously. Buzz buzz. Hee hee, the heavenly formation has sent a message. At this moment, Prime Minister Turtle smiled and took out the communication stone plate to have a look. "Prime Minister Turtle, what did the Dragon King say?" The group of Dragon Palace leaders looked over curiously. "Ao Xie, bring your devouring dragon subordinates. We'll head to the Dragon King immediately. There's still a huge amount of resources there." Prime Minister Turtle looked at the message and shouted at Ao Xie. "What?" "Prime Minister Turtle, the Dragon King still has a huge amount of resources? Roar, 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 little ones, let's go." Ao Xie's excited voice resounded. The faces of the rest of the experts from Dragon Palace darkened and they became even more envious of them. "Damn it, after this breakthrough, not only will I let Ao Xie and the others destroy the Qimei region, I'll also let them unify the Tian Fa Ancient Heaven region and let them search for treasures in the 8 Desolations and 6 Directions region." Devil Fiend and the others said sourly. "All members of Dragon Palace, get ready to depart." Prime Minister Turtle let out a low roar and led the army of the Dragon Palace toward the center of the Mechanic Emperor domain. Compared to a few months ago, the devouring dragon tribe had undergone a terrifying evolution. When they first arrived, the weakest among the devouring dragons was a level 4 Undying God King. Now, the weakest among them was a level 7 Undying God King. What kind of concept was this? 1,000,000 devouring dragons with the weakest being a level 7 Undying God King. This was simply terrifying. Roar, roar. Excited roars could be heard from the devouring dragons as they swayed their huge bodies. The Mechanic Emperor domain was their paradise. After over 20 hours of flying, they arrived at the secret base of the Creator. Prime Minister Turtle, Ao Xie, and the rest entered the soil, tore open the space, and entered the crack. "Dragon King!" Ao Xie transformed into his human form and shouted excitedly. His eyes lit up as he stared at the mechanical world, and he almost drooled. "Come over." Wang Xian's voice resounded and the group of devouring dragons flew over immediately. "Ao Xie, your devouring dragons are in luck this time. There's a body of a creator here. Most importantly, there's the energy core of a creator. Tianjin said to Aosia with a smile. Aosia couldn't help but let out a roar as he flew over excitedly. The group of devouring dragons opened their mouths and followed behind. Distribute the resources here and let the devouring dragons devour them. Aosia, come over here. Wang Xian said to them. Dragon King. Aosia flew to Wang Xian's side and called out with a smile. Feel the energy here. As Wang Xian spoke, he passed the mechanical heart to Aosia. This is? Aosia took it over and was thrilled. Such a majestic energy. I feel that it's much more than the giant body of the creator. Huff huff. He was burning with excitement and his breathing was rapid. Can it be upgraded by another level? Wang Xian asked. Dragon King, it should be about the same. Aosia said excitedly. Upgrade it. There's still a body of a creator in the castle over there. The energy it contains isn't any less than the giant body. Wang Xian chuckled. I'll distribute the resources here and upgrade it immediately. Aosia replied hurriedly. Dragon King, there are so many treasures in the Mechanic Emperor domain. Aosia flew over and exclaimed in shock. The upgrade of the devouring dragons was already terrifying enough. Wang Xian did not expect it to be upgraded to another level. The resources of the entire Mechanic Emperor domain for billions of years, other than those that were consumed, should have been obtained by us. Wang Xian chuckled. After the devouring dragons receive a huge upgrade, our dragon palace can head to the Qimei region and annihilate the demons there. At that time, the dragon palace will receive another upgrade. Moreover, the demon lair that we obtained from the Qimei region should be able to upgrade our dragon palace. Prime Minister Turtle said with a face full of joy. Let's upgrade the devouring dragons first. After that we'll return. Wang Xian nodded. The upgrade of Aosia and the rest would allow the dragon palace to reap the resources of the entire resplendent starry sky. It would allow the overall strength of the dragon palace to be upgraded once again. This time, the expedition to the Mechanic Emperor domain is the right choice. Wang Xian looked at the surrounding devouring dragons devouring the mechanical world and revealed a smile. The billions of years of accumulation of the Mechanic Emperor domain would all belong to the Dragon Palace. Seeking monthly votes. Chapter 2935. Demons, monsters on beep beep beep. Life backup rebooted. Beginning data backup. Backup successful. Just as Dragon Palace was improving rapidly, in the vast void beside the Mechanic Emperor domain, in the center of a meteorite, a ray of light suddenly shone. A robot opened its eyes, and data flashed. Soon, his face was filled with hatred. Dragon King, Dragon Palace, I want you to pay the price. A roar came from his mouth. His body shook, and cracks appeared on the meteor. My body is only at the third order immortal God King. Even a meteorite can't break it. A voice filled with unwillingness rang out. I want revenge, I want revenge. Peng peng peng. The meteorite slowly cracked open, and a slightly worn-out robot walked out of it. It looked very wretched. Who would have thought that this was the creator of the Mechanic Emperor domain? A stray dog. The Mechanic Emperor domain was completely wiped out by Dragon Palace. It wouldn't be long before the Mechanic Emperor domain ceased to exist. Time passed day by day. Wang Xian and the rest were in the secret base of the creator, quietly waiting for the devouring dragon to improve. But at this time, something that Wang Xian and the rest had not expected happened in the Lioli region. Retreat, retreat, all living planets in the Lioli region, retreat. The domain master is holding off the 4 evil god emperor leaders. Let's retreat quickly. In just a few months, the Lioli region had undergone huge changes. 2 months ago, the Lioli region massacred the invading demons, killing a large number of demons and evil god emperors. But just as they were about to chase all the demons out of the Lioli region, a huge demon den appeared, and more than 20 evil god emperors appeared. But what they didn't expect was that not long after, another 3 huge demon dens descended on the Lioli region. There were 4 leaders in the 4 great demon dens. Every leader had the strength of a third-order god emperor. These 4 leaders were called Qi, Mei, Ho, and Ho by the people of the Lioli region. Qi, Mei, Wang, and Liang were the strongest existences they had seen in the Qi, Mei, and Ho. The three great devil dens gathered together, and the four great leaders immediately led all their evil subordinates to attack the Lioli region's army. When close to 100 evil monarchs appeared, everyone in the Lioli region revealed a shocked expression. Without the slightest hesitation, the domain master led everyone to retreat. Retreat! Retreat! Half of the Lioli region was evacuated. Furthermore, the entire Lioli region had entered a state of emergency. All the life planets were evacuated to the distance. However, during that escape, the domain lord was still heavily injured in order to resist the four leaders of the evil spirits and monsters. After evacuating half of the Lioli region, before they could do much preparation, the four terrifying devil's dens rushed over again. This time, the Lioli region did not have the slightest intention to resist. On the fighting ring, countless experts stared at the position in front of them in horror. The leaders of the four great demons besieged the region master. The seven-colored glazed stone revolved around the domain lord. She held the ruler in her hand, and streams of terrifying water flowed towards the four leaders of the demonic beasts. The seven-colored glazed stone was the treasure of the entire Lioli region. The entire Lioli region had only produced one seven-colored glazed stone. The seven-colored glazed stone was forged by the five-colored glazed stone on behalf of the domain lord. Relying on these two treasures, the domain lord was able to stay alive under the combined attacks of the four demonic beasts. Even so, against four beings of the same level, he could only hold on for 1 to 2 hours. Fighting for 1 to 2 hours for all the experts and disciples of the Lioli region to evacuate. There's not enough time. Our domain lord can't hold on for long. I will summon my own god nation and abandon the fighting ring. All soldiers, enter my god nation. The first supreme elder looked at the situation in front of him and roared with a bitter expression. First supreme elder, the demonic beast's army is already charging over. We still have tens of thousands of life planets humans here. At this moment, an anxious voice was heard. At this moment, although they were not facing the attacks of the demonic beasts directly, the suffocating pressure made their faces pale. Pass down my orders, send 100,000 undying god kings to summon their god nations and bring the humans from the life planets into their god nations. The first supreme elder roared with a solemn expression. Yes. The surrounding soldiers responded in unison. Who? The domain lord said he can only hold on for an hour. The demonic beasts behind us will arrive in less than an hour. We have to evacuate as far away as possible within 40 minutes. Around them, more than 20 god emperors stood at the side with an ugly expression. No one had expected the situation to turn out this way. We've already retreated to the center of the Lioli region. Where can we retreat to? One of the god emperors growled. Keep retreating. We can only keep retreating. If the demons keep attacking, we have to prepare for a great escape. At that time, we might need all the god kingdoms of the god kings and god emperors to help the people of the Lioli region escape. A second-order god emperor realm expert from the Lioli region said gloomily, Everyone, this is the final preparation. The teleportation array between the Lioli region and the sacred region has been activated. Hong Fengyan said to the experts from the Lioli region. Hong Fengyan was one of the god emperors sent by the sacred region to support them. However, the sacred region experts did not expect such a situation. If this unsolvable situation continued, the Lioli region would probably be completely finished. But once the Lioli region was finished, the sacred region would be threatened by the devil region. Inform the people of the Lioli region to head to the planets near the sacred region's borders. If there's an emergency, use the teleportation array. The first supreme elder immediately ordered. Yes. One of the god emperors nodded. Very soon, the Lioli region abandoned their battle platform. First supreme elder's god nation carried countless soldiers and disciples and retreated to the rear. 3 days later, the demonic beasts occupied 3/5 of the Lioli region. Half a month later, the demonic beasts occupied 4/5 of the Lioli region. 1 month later, The Lioli region was almost completely occupied. Countless people from the Lioli region gathered at the border of the sacred region. The demonic beasts stopped their attacks and were absorbing the spoils of war in the Lioli region. The Lioli region's people had lived in the starry space for countless years. At the border, there were at least a few 100 million planets squeezed together, very close to each other. The surrounding void was filled with god nations. God masters' god nations, god kings' god nations, and even the void god emperors' god nations. The people in the god nations were all from the Lioli region. More than 1 trillion people. Chapter 29:36. It's over. It's all over. Our hometown is gone. Our starry sky is gone. Our Lioli region is gone. Countless people from Lioli region gathered at the border. The entire Lioli region was destitute. What did that mean? A sorrowful atmosphere filled the entire starry sky. How did the demons from Chi-Mei region become so strong all of a sudden? How could there be so many experts? We even went to Chi-Mei region to train. But what should we do now? If the demons continue to attack, we can only flee to the sanctuary region. Putting where we live aside, Chi-Mei region can invade us. Does that mean the sanctuary region is 100% safe? How could this happen? How could those demons be so strong? Is our Lioli region going to perish? On the planet and within the Holy Kingdom, everyone was discussing in panic. All the people of Lioli region were panicking. Disaster, a huge disaster. If the Domain Lord hadn't discovered the disaster in advance, they couldn't imagine what the consequences would be. Perhaps the number of people fleeing here would be reduced by half, because the other half had already been devoured by the demons. Even so, many people's hearts were filled with despair. Chi-Mei, Wang Liang, the 4 leaders of the demons, nearly 100 emperor demons, and countless demons of other levels. It wasn't something that Lioli region could resist. Panic, unease, fear. Everyone could only wait anxiously. Domain Lord, you're back. Domain Lord, you're seriously injured. At the same time, an old man flew over from a tall tower on a planet in the middle of the border. On the tall tower, more than 30 emperor gods hurried over. Sensing the aura of the Domain Lord, everyone's expression changed. The Domain Lord landed on the tall tower. Seeing them approaching, he couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. Domain Lord! At this moment, the Emperor God's expression changed. The Supreme Great Elder and the others hurried over to support the Domain Lord. Domain Lord, you went to investigate. What happened? What's going on? Seeing the Domain Lord in such a weak state, an Emperor God asked with concern, I didn't expect that demon to be so cunning. I didn't expect it to leave a trace of energy in my body during the previous battle. When I went to investigate, I was ambushed by it. The Domain Lord was helped to a chair. She lay down on it and closed her eyes. In the past few months, the Domain Lord had single-handedly fought against the 4 leaders of the demons, monsters, and demons, and had experienced 3 battles. Relying on the treasure, he managed to delay the Lioli region's soldiers from escaping. However, he had been injured in all 3 battles. However, with the resources and treasures of the Colored Glaze region, his injuries healed very quickly, and he was no longer a threat. But this time, he had fallen at the hands of Yao Xiemei, one of the 4 leaders of the evil demons. A strange concealment ability, a powerful assassination method. He was severely injured. I'm afraid it will be difficult for me to return to my peak. The Domain Lord suddenly spat out a few words. What? Upon hearing the region master's words, everyone in the Lioli region had a drastic change in expression and their hearts trembled violently. Grandpa, your injuries are so serious. A god emperor grabbed the Domain Lord's arm and asked with a trembling body. Sigh, I was too careless. The 4 leaders of the evil demons are existences that returned from other galaxies. They must have experienced countless battles and are proficient in all kinds of tricks. I underestimated them. Even if I recover now, I can only recover the battle strength of a first-order god emperor. It will be difficult for me to return to my peak. The Domain Lord sighed and sat up straight helplessly. Then he looked around. First Order God Emperor. Everyone's expression changed again when they heard the Domain Lord's words. It's alright, Domain Lord. Let me handle the rest of the investigation. I'll be more careful. There shouldn't be any problems. The First Supreme Elder's expression changed slightly as he said immediately, No, the 4 leaders of the evil demons all have special abilities. Among them, Yao Xiemei is the most difficult to deal with. If he conceals himself, you won't be able to sense him at all. He can kill you instantly. The Domain Lord shook his head and said, Then, if the 4 leaders of the demons, monsters, and demons rush over and we are not alerted, won't we? One of the God Emperors said worriedly when he heard the Domain Lord's expression. Now, all the God Emperors had summoned their God nations over. If the 4 leaders of the Qi, Mei, Wang, and Liang were to attack, they would be finished without any warning. None of them would be able to escape given the strength of the 4 leaders. The God Emperors trembled at the thought of this and their eyes were filled with fear. Everyone from the Colored Glaze region, why don't you all evacuate to the Holy region first? We can leave some people here to stand guard. We can set up more teleportation arrays along the border. If those evil demons continue to invade, it will be a calamity for our resplendent starry sky. We will gather all our forces to counterattack. One of the God Emperors from the Holy region said with a frown. Give up on the Colored Glaze region? The surrounding God Emperors from the Colored Glaze region were filled with reluctance when they heard his words. But at this time, the Domain Lord was heavily injured and no one could resist the evil army. What else could they do but give up? Can the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace be contacted? The Domain Lord's expression changed slightly as he asked. Domain Lord, we still can't contact anyone from the Dragon Palace. Domain Lord, it's been half a year. Could something have happened to the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace? With such a long time, we should be able to determine a winner by now. One of the God Emperors said, That's really possible. After all, the Mechanic Emperor domain is the Mech's territory. They've been building this territory for more than 1 billion years. With the wisdom of the Creator, they'll definitely make their base impregnable. Moreover, the Mechs have collected billions of years' worth of resources in the Mechanic Emperor region. If the Dragon Palace invades recklessly, they might really be in danger. How can a force that has existed for billions of years be destroyed so easily? One of the God Emperors said. His words caused the expressions of the God Emperors to change. Could the Dragon Palace have really been destroyed by the Mechanic Emperor region? They couldn't contact them for half a month. The more they thought about it, the more likely it was. After all, the Dragon Palace was invading their territory and the Mechs had the geographical advantage. In addition, the Creator's billions of years of planning for their lair, with the wisdom of the Creator, the Dragon King and the rest should be fine. By the side, Hong Fengyan pursed her lips and said in disbelief, Red Wind God Emperor, can you contact the Dragon King and the rest? Hearing her words, the Upper Water God Emperor couldn't help but ask. Red Wind God Emperor shook his head. Chapter 2937. Demons and monsters. Below, a group of emperor gods stood on a tower on a planet at the border of the Lioli region. A heavily injured region lord. They couldn't contact the Dragon Palace. Originally, the Dragon Palace coming to reinforce the Lioli region was a great help to them. However, there was no news from the Dragon Palace after they invaded the Mechanic Emperor domain. Now that they couldn't contact the Dragon Palace, they couldn't help but think about the worst. The Dragon Palace was probably in danger. Retreat to the border of the sanctuary. There are some planets at the border to guard against evil. The region lord said slowly. The surrounding emperor gods fell silent and nodded helplessly. I'll go organize it. As the first supreme elder spoke, he flew outside. Let's contact the Holy Lord and get him ready. Hong Fengyan and the other 2 emperor gods said and immediately contacted the Holy Lord. The defeat of the Lioli region was not only a blow to them, but also to the sanctuary and the entire resplendent starry sky. The Lioli region used to be the strongest region. Now that it had been defeated, how could they resist if evil invaded other star regions? All soldiers, disciples, and citizens of the Lioli region, please get ready. We are about to retreat to the sanctuary. Everyone, get ready. Soon, a majestic voice resounded across the sky. All the citizens of the Lioli region froze when they heard the voice. Are we going to retreat to the sanctuary? Don't we have any hope at all? I didn't expect the Lioli region to be defeated and have to flee. We don't have any chance? We can invite other forces to help us. What other forces can we invite? The only powerful forces are the Dragon Palace and the Sanctuary. I heard that the Dragon Palace has been uncontactable ever since they entered the Mechanic Emperor domain. The Dragon Palace might be in danger. I heard from the Lord God that the Dragon Palace has been uncontactable for the past 6 months. We only have the strength to fight if the Dragon Palace supports us. I'm afraid the Dragon Palace is in trouble. The Dragon Palace dared to invade the Mechanic Emperor domain. They should be very strong. Why can't we contact them? What happened? Is the Mechanic Emperor's domain so easy to conquer? The masters of creation are existences that have existed for billions of years. How long has it been since the rise of the Dragon Palace? They must be too young. They might have been ambushed by the androids. I'm afraid something has happened to them since we haven't been able to contact them for so long. Doesn't the invincible combat technique mean that the Dragon Palace is invincible? Wouldn't he be able to easily destroy the Mechanic Emperor domain? What was the situation now? Why isn't that guy acting arrogant on the AI anymore? When the order to retreat rang out, everyone in the Lioli region went into an uproar. Who would want to leave their hometown? Who would want to see their starry sky being occupied? Everyone was talking about the current situation of the Dragon Palace, because at this moment, without the help of the Dragon Palace, they had no hope at all. But now that they had chosen to retreat, it meant that there was a high possibility that something had happened to the Dragon Palace. Invincible combat techniques. Did something really happen to the Dragon King and the others? At this moment, at the bottom of the tower, Jean F.A. Woody and his senior sister stood together. A peak divine monarch from the Lioli region couldn't help but ask him. Boss Wang and the others have probably obtained a huge amount of resources and are cultivating now. Hence, we can't contact them for now. Invincible looked at the old man and said plainly. The old man's heart sank when he heard him. How could he possibly believe Invincible's conjecture? Obtaining treasures, absorbing resources, and not being able to contact them for half a year? The possibility was too low. Junior brother Invincible, is what you said true? Second senior sister, who was beside him, couldn't help but send a voice transmission to him. Senior sister, I don't know either. Not only can I contact Boss Wang, but I can't contact Sir Sky Array either. I'm panicking now. Invincible combat techniques couldn't help but comment. Now, he even wanted to make a trip back to the Dragon Palace to ask about the situation. But after he went back, it would take at least a few months for him to return at his current speed. By then, it would be too late. Second senior sister's expression changed slightly when she heard him. Shao Qi, Invincible, get ready to head to the sacred region. At this moment, the upper water god emperor flew over and said to the two of them. Seeing that their master didn't look too good, the two of them nodded obediently and followed behind. Hence, a grand escape began. Countless planets and divine kingdoms were flying in the vast void, heading towards the sacred region. Given their speed, they would need at least half a year to cross the entire border. And this was with the help of the teleportation array. Otherwise, with so many people, it would take 1 to 2 years to complete the journey. Just as they were escaping from the colored glaze region, roars could be heard from time to time from a crack in the space deep within the Mechanic Emperor domain. Dragon King, another 10 members of the Devouring Dragon have broken through and possess the combat strength of a third-order god emperor. Prime Minister Turtle came to Wang Xian and reported with a smile. Now, there are 19 third-order god emperors from the Devouring Dragon and about 150 other god emperors. Prime Minister Turtle continued happily. Great. Now, we just have to wait for Roving Crab to break through. If Roving Crab can break through successfully, the Dragon Palace will have a member with the combat strength of a fourth-order god emperor. Wang Xian nodded and smiled at Roving Crab, who was devouring the mechanical heart. In the short period of time since the conquest of the Mechanic Emperor domain, Roving Crab's combat strength had risen from a First-Order God Emperor to a Third-Order God Emperor. Now, he was breaking through to the Fourth Order. Such a speed was unheard of. Roving Crab should be able to break through in a month or two. Wang Xian said plainly. The continuous breakthroughs have caused Roving Crab's absorption speed to slow down. Dragon King, after we return, the Colored Glaze region should have eliminated the invading demons from the enchantment region. At that time, the other members of the Dragon Palace should be able to improve. Prime Minister Turtle smiled. Wang Xian nodded and took out the communication stone plate to continue nurturing. A few days ago, he discovered many weapons and treasures here. Some of them were used by God Emperors and should have been obtained by the creators. However, these divine weapons could not be used by the androids. Wang Xian used them to increase the power of the 5 elements grindstone. During this period of time, he was not bored. However, Wang Xian would never have expected the Colored Glaze region to be completely different from what he had imagined. The Dragon Palace had eliminated the androids and swept the Mechanic Emperor domain. In the Colored Glaze region, the enchantment region had also swept and occupied it. The Colored Glaze region had begun their escape. That you're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.